It's one of those days where you're just going to want to keep the rain gear handy, and keep in mind for the drive home, there could be some ponding on roadways. We're seeing more just standard rain opposed to thunderstorms. We don't have a lot of energy to get thunderstorms going. With that being said, we can't rule out some embedded thunder or lightning today, but for the most part, it's just your typical rain, but it is heavy at times and in spots. So here's a look at the radar right now, and we're seeing a good amount of rain, especially for our area, especially in red. Anytime you see the red, that is some heavy rainfall coming down. Every now and again, though, it is spilling over down to the valley floor. And the showers are initiating along a cold front. That's going to be the focal point throughout today. As the cold front moves further east, the bulk of the rain will move further east as well. And because it's initiating right along this front, areas could get hit with rain for a good portion of today, where you might get a 20-minute break and then it rains over the same area once again. And that's why we can't rule out some ponding on roadways. But again, some heavy rainfall here, basically from I-80 northward and into California. Also in the foothills of Reno, seeing more rainfall there and in the North Valleys. But throughout Reno Sparks, rain is likely throughout today. Also down through Carson City, at least on the western side and just to the west of Washoe Lake. But as this front moves further east, our chances for heavier rainfall will start to increase. So here's a look at some of the rainfall rates right now, and in green again, mainly into northern California. Looks like, according to radar, anywhere between about a ½ inch to an inch per hour. But this is just an estimate. This usually tends to overdo it a little bit, but gives us the idea that it is really coming down here. Further to the east, we are seeing some spillover. In terms of storm threats today, flooding would be the main concern. That's a medium threat. It's not high, but it is medium, mainly over our burn scars here. Because of the rain, the risk of fire starts, that's pretty low, but it's not zero. Hail is low, and so is wind, but they're not zero. The main thing today, watch out for some flash flooding, mainly in poor drainage areas as well as on burn scars. It's going to be pretty localized, so for the most part, you'll just have some puddles out there, and you'll have to use your windshield wipers, and it will be raining throughout much of today. You could see a few breaks here and there, but for the most part, it's going to stay pretty soggy today. Anyone in green has a potential for seeing some flooding, and this is according to the Weather Prediction Center here, so that would be a marginal risk, and that means that you have at least a 5% chance within 25 miles. So anyone in green could see some flooding or some excessive rain, and that does include anywhere from Lake Tahoe, the Tahoe Basin, the Truckee Meadows, and then up through Lovelock, as well as into Humboldt County and Winnemucca. So this is right along that cold front there. Here's a look at some of the expected rainfall totals, and in general, most of us will see around a ½ inch. Some spots a little bit less, but that will be for the most part, what most of us will get. It looks like a ¼ inch is a good bet here. An 80% chance in Reno and Sparks, as well as in Carson City, but a 50% chance of seeing over a ½ inch, a 30% chance of seeing over an inch. But notice around Lake Tahoe, Truckee, there around 3/4 inch is the forecasted total, but still a good bet, or at least a 70% chance of seeing over a ½ inch and about a 50% chance of seeing over an inch of rainfall in places like Truckee as well as South Lake Tahoe. So it's one of those soggy days, and tomorrow morning it will become more hit and miss. So here's a look at the futurecast. Again, majority of the showers initiating along the front itself, and what we call training could more than likely happen where it just rains over the same spot over and over again, and it's going to be right along that front. The front moves further east with time, so for right now the rain isn't as heavy in Reno, but by the time you drive home from work it will be, and so it will intensify for the Truckee Meadows down through Carson City right around the evening hour when you drive home from work. Overnight into Friday morning, now it shifts more so to the basin and range. Notice the color still yellow, orange, and red, indicating heavier rain, and then we'll start to see some scattered showers develop on the back side of the low and right around it. It becomes more popcorn-like, more showery in nature on Friday. And with that, early Friday morning also can rely on a little bit of snowfall up in the high Sierra. So it's going to stay active throughout today, not quite as active on Friday, and then by Saturday it moves further east and closer to Utah, and highs will be into the upper 60s. We'll still have some lingering clouds, but overall a really nice weekend. Here's a look at another model that shows just how much rainfall we can expect, but I think it paints a picture of what's happening here, where it's right along that front in a band. And this is just one model run, so it's just what it thinks. But in general, I think we'll have some good steady rainfall. Most of us today will at least get 1/4 of an inch. Again, what I'm going with is closer to about a 1/2 inch of rainfall in the Reno area. This is just a model, but in yellow would be a higher amount. So could even see over an inch of rainfall in parts of the Sierra. As far as your 7-day forecast here, again, soggy today. It becomes more scattered, hit and miss on Friday with a high of 61, but a 70% chance today. And then a really nice weekend. Highs will be into the upper 60s, but cold at night with overnight lows in the 40s. Have a great day.